Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in today. We're just here to discuss a little bit of news with the Yolt Poker House and about our new season coming up. So just a few things that we're gonna just share today with the video. First off, I'd just like to welcome Nick. Hey Nick, how are you?
Morning everyone.
So me and Nick have just been putting together a little bit more of a new concept for Yolt Poker. Previously, you've been awarded attendance for every game that you've played, but now we've just come up with a new system with having multiple venues come on, just to make it a little bit fairer for everybody, and also just to make it a little bit of a better end of season final. So Nick, let's get started. Right, let's explain what we've been doing and what we are now doing.
So we sat down towards the end of last year and we're just talking about how poker had evolved in the last 12 months, since Yolt Poker's just been in for just over 12 months. So the previous, we'll call it a chip up allocation, was based off attendance. So, and originally when that concept came in, it was based off 10 games at the venue. So for a start stack of 50K, if you went to every game, you get another 5K. That would get you to 100K. Now with the addition of Haywood coming on, there's actually 25 games across the season. So $5,000 per game, all of a sudden your chip stacks were becoming too skewed. What we thought was too skewed. So where you'd sit down, if you played every game, and once again, now it's skewed on attendance rather than performance. And this is where this whole conversation, or the numerous conversations we've had about it. So if you went to every game, you would now end up with a stack. So your start stack's 50K on the day, but with all your add-ons from your attendance, you would now be up to 175K. That's 875 big blinds. And we sort of thought it's too loaded to attendance rather than performance.
Yep, definitely.
So when we sat down and had multiple conversations and tried to work out all the mechanics and how best, like you said, with every poker house, you've always got to be across every detail and trying to improve and generate good and better poker play and reward the players that run deep consistently, because you'd like to think that that's showing you that you've got good poker skill, and we want to try and improve everybody up. So what we ended up coming with was, it's now going to be done on a chip reward for performance. So we run through multiple different ways of doing it in regards to whether we pay top 20, do we just pay 9, and so what happens on the night, top 10 places will be played. So it's a point system that if you bubble to the final table, you will get a point which will give you 1,000 chips. So every point is 1,000 chips. As you step up in your where you come on that final table for the night, you get more and more, and it's loaded up to the top 4. So if you get final table and you can run deep and you can get top 4, you get more. So first place will get you 15,000 chips. 10th place will get you 1,000 chips. And if you don't make top 10, you don't get any chips. We still have, I think you still got the attendance that there's going to be a certain number of games required.
Yep. So you're still going to have to play 5 games to qualify for the season final, and that will get you your base 50K stack. So if you come to 5 games, don't final table or bubble final table, any of those games, and say go first out, you will still get your 50K for the season final, but you just won't get any added extra chips.
Yeah, so we actually run through quite a few, and you might be just wondering how that pans out for a certain amount of games and where you might average of your position. So for those that only play at a single venue, we've run a few numbers. So if there's 10 games at that venue and you only get there, if you make final table 40% of the time, so 4 out of 10, and you average second, so that means you've got to, for the 4 times that you're there, you average second, you will have a increase of 48K, which now gets you a new stack of 98. If you make final table 40% of the time and you average 4th, your new stack will be 82. And if you average 7th, your new stack would be 66. Now there might be some of you out there thinking, well, I'm going to go better than that. So if you made final table 6 out of the 10, or 60% of the time you made final table, if you average second, that's a super effort. If you can average second 6 times out of 10 efforts, you'll have a new stack of 122,000. Now, if we go across and we put the games together and we say there's a total of 20, and somebody's out there and wants to play everyone, if you have an absolute belter season, you will get rewarded for it because it's all about performance and how you play.
Exactly.
So if you made 8 final tables out of 20 attempts, which is a 40%, I think my numbers are right there. Yep, that's 40%. So if you 8 out of 20, if you average second 8 times out of 20 games, your new stack is 146,000. And if you make the final table 8 out of 20 and you average 7th, your new stack is 82. So we think all the structures there, how we plunge back to it, and we've tried to go up to work out what we think players who are playing really good might get up to in regards to how many final tables and where they average. If you get above that, you get more, but I think that's probably what we've spoken, that's probably going to be the ceiling of everything. So
now there will not be a cap on these as well. So if you happen to have a banger season and win 5 times out of 10, you will still be rewarded. So we're not going to cap this at say 110,000, 120,000. But because of the chip stacks that we think that the average is going to be at the end of season final, we are going to tighten up that end of season final a little bit so that you get more play at the end of season final. So at the moment, we're having 20-minute blinds. We are looking at putting that to 25-minute blinds just to help in this aspect of giving you more play. But the better players are going to still be rewarded.
Yeah, and the other thing is it's also a tool. Like everybody's got a different level of skill or poker nous or experience from where you play, who you play against, the type of tournaments you play. These weekly events, they're just a good starting point for everybody to get their poker. So it's also a tool, like for anybody out there who's wanting to improve their game, this is a good indicator to show you how you're tracking. But if you notice other players around you seem to be having more success rate or whatever, it gives you the ability to have a chat to them and go, what can I do? Yeah. What am I doing wrong? Am I a bit loose? Am I playing cards that I probably shouldn't play in certain positions? It's a conversation starter. So if you want to have a chat to somebody, because at the end of the day, if you can improve your game, you're going to start the season final in a better position. So yeah, that's the other tool, because I think sometimes players can feel embarrassed or not know who to ask, but there's so many different players out there with different skill sets and how well they run. So yeah, it is there for the ability to have a conversation and just ask somebody. You can either ask them at the table when you've played a hand, you go, what did I do wrong there? Or when the break's on, or at the end of the game, just, hey, what do you think I'm doing? Do you reckon there's anything I can do a little bit better? So it's a conversation starter too.
Yeah.
Just 100%. To try and help everybody out, whether you be there or there, we can all ask the same question.
Exactly right. And as we've said previously, this is not going to be a situation where you've got to finish, say, top 30 to make the season final. Regardless of whether you get points or not, you will make the season final. Therefore, you will be able to actually still play the season final against everybody else. But this is just a way, like Nick said, to improve everybody's game and get us to the point of where we were 12 months ago.
And you don't have the mismatch of somebody starting the season final with 75,000.
Yep.
And then somebody else has got 175,000.
Yep.
Like the previous season that we're just coming out of now allowed for. This will tighten everything up. So there won't be such big margins between people's start stacks. If somebody is there, it's performance driven, and that's what needs to be rewarded as opposed to attendance driven.
Exactly right. All right, thank you very much, Nick. Thanks
for
coming over. And yeah, we can't wait to see you all at our next venue.